You keep going back over and over to the same person. Let me say it again and hear it one more time. You keep going back over and over to the same person. And if it's not the exact same person, it's the same person in different people's bodies. It's the same person that hurts you, it's the same person that betrays you, it's the same person that whatever they do, the history keeps repeating itself and there's a reason for it. And you can actually fight it. You can actually fix it. So I'll tell you how I found out why in my previous relationships the history was kind of repeating itself. You see, there are three attachment styles. You can be either anxious, secure, or avoidant. If you're a secure person, that means that your parents met your needs when you were a kid. So when you cried, they figured out what you needed. So let's be honest, it's everybody's first time living on this earth. Okay, everyone is doing their best. And just because your parents did their best, that doesn't mean they met your needs fully. So in terms of this topic, it doesn't mean that your parents are bad people. I'm not saying anything like this. But you have to realize that there is a possibility they haven't met your needs. Because you see, when we were babies, our brains are forming even before we were born. So, how your mother experienced pregnancy, what she was thinking, what she was feeling, how she was feeling, if she felt cared for, if everything was secure at that time in her life, that also has influence on your brain that you have right now. Which is it fair? No, it's not. And is there something you can do about it? Also not. But there's something you can do about it right now. So when you were born, your parents either met your needs or they didn't. And even if they were trying their best, you have to understand that there is a chance they haven't done it like you needed it. It doesn't mean they haven't tried their best. They haven't done it like you needed to be cared for. Let's start from secure attachment style. Secure people usually don't get into a lot of relationships, and they usually, when they find a person, they're able to be in a stable relationship. And then we have the two other attachment styles, which is anxious and avoidant. And they kind of act like a magnet. And I'll tell you why. It's very, very interesting. So, if you're an anxious person, you believe subconsciously, even if consciously you think that that's completely not what you're thinking. If you're anxious, that what happens in your subconscious. So, you think that you have to work hard to be loved and you have to seek out a connection, and that's how you get, like, through the attention and through a person being there that meets your needs, and that makes you feel like another person is not going to walk out from your life in a minute. And then there's the avoidant people. When they were kids, their parents didn't give them unconditional love. They were loved for accomplishments, they were loved for something. So they might be very, very successful people, and this is kind of like glamorized in our society, being avoidant, because you don't feel emotions and you just move on so easily from different relationships. It's not true, because avoidant people, they actually have a void inside them, like literally imagine empty space for feelings that is there inside of them, and they have no idea what to do with it, and they just hide it so deep inside of them that when the actual person in the relationship tries to get close to them, they are pulling away because they are scared of all of the emptiness that is left in them. You have to recognize those patterns within you, and whatever it is, how your relationships play out, whether you're in a lot of situationships, whether you're in short relationships that shortly after someone loses interest in you, you have to recognize those patterns, and you have to really ask yourself, why this is happening to me. Not like, oh, why this is happening to me. Why do I keep attracting certain people into my life? And I'll tell you why subconsciously anxious people attract the avoidant people. There is an anxious person and there is an avoidant person. They attract because for anxious person, love feels like the avoidant person because this is what they received as a child. And you remember, as a child, we are learning all those patterns. So if as a child, love was shown to you and you were taught that love feels like avoidance, this is what you're going to seek out because your brain seeks out familiarity. It doesn't seek out anything else, it sees patterns. Okay? So your brain, as an anxious person, seeks out the avoidant person because this is what love feels like. And for the avoidant person, the anxious person, this is what love feels like. So they just keep attracting each other. And later on, it doesn't play out very well. We all know that if there's an avoidant person and there's an anxious person, and the anxious person keeps texting the avoidant person, and they just pull away and they disappear for like 2 weeks, and they need space. Okay, so how to recognize all those patterns within you? If you go through the history of your relationships and whatever happened, you might realize that you're, for example, like me, anxious. What do I have to do in terms of becoming secure? I have to understand that my brain sees the avoidant person as a kind of ideal partner because my brain knows how the whole story is going to play out. Because this what love feels like to my brain. I need to understand that for my brain, I get into a relationship and I'm thinking that the person is gonna leave me. So I'm gonna choose an avoidant person so that I can chase them so that they can leave me. When you understand that and the reality kind of breaks to you, when you start understanding that, this is one of the hardest things you're gonna probably do in your life. Okay, because this is a kind of therapy that goes before you were born, and people do a lot of hard things in their life, but this is not for the weak, trust me. So when you realize that your brain seeks out certain type of people, you start recognizing what those kind of people are. That in the beginning there's a lot of ups and downs in the relationship. That in the beginning you're very into that person and you don't feel like you're kind of on their level, right? That you feel like you have to earn their love. When you start realizing that, you can do the things that are not comfortable to you at the moment, because doing things that are familiar is not always right, and whatever feels right to your subconscious is not necessarily right thing to do at the moment. So whatever your brain feels like here, and here are the patterns, okay, you have to start doing something different. And at the beginning it's going to feel very uncomfortable because you're feeling that you're not doing something in line with yourself, but you're trying to change that thing within yourself, so it's not meant to feel comfortable. So it's going to be a person, if you're anxious, it's going to be a person in a relationship that starts off very calm. There's not a lot of ups and downs. It doesn't feel as exciting to your brain because there's not that much stimulation. You don't have to show to that person that you don't have to prove that you're worth of love. It's very hard. But if you want to do it and you go through all those steps, you are going to do it. You're going to get there. So the most important thing is realizing all those patterns that you keep following and slowly trying to change them. Do not rush with it, and have around you some friends and family that are able to support you, or a therapist that you can tell that to. It's kind of the fact of becoming so self-aware of what your brain is trying to follow and what you should follow, because at the end you don't want the history to repeat itself. You want to have a different outcome, so you're going to have to follow a different script. So from now on, in dating, you have to look out for the people you would normally go for, and explain to your brain that that's not it, that this is not the way to go. If you want anything to change, you're gonna have to start doing things differently and start doing things that are uncomfortable. It's gonna feel very, very weird at the beginning, but if you're not going to change it, nothing is going to change in your life, and you're going to repeat that pattern throughout all your life, or you're going to end up in a marriage with an avoidant person and you're just going to chase them. It's not going to work. You're just going to be sad all your life, because look at your past relationships. While you realize that you're anxious or avoidant, you can actually start working on it, and you can think about your childhood and what happened in your childhood that made you that kind of a person, and start changing those patterns. You have to understand that not every person thinks like you. If you're anxious, you have to understand that there are avoidant people in the world, and not every person is going to be this clingy for love. Not every person needs attention 24/7. Not every person needs their text responded straight away. You have to understand that there are people in this planet living differently and thinking differently, because they literally have different brains that are wired in the exact opposite way as yours. I know it's very far, but um once you realize all of this, you can start changing things. And let me know if you want part 2, how to actually heal from those things, because I'm still in the process. But yeah, I'm going through it, and I hope you will too, and I hope you understood a lot from this video. Bye.